What are you doing left? Let's approach to the edge of the woods up there. Can you undo without lights? Let's do it carefully. Come on. Okay, we're looking at the thing. We're probably about 200 to 300 yards away. It looks like an eye winking at you. It's still moving from side to side. And when you put the star scope on it, it sort of has a hollow center, right? Dark center. It's like the pupil of an eye looking at you and winking. And the flash is so bright to the star scope that it almost burns your eye.
Welcome back to the Secret Society of Strangers.
Welcome, stranger.
Secret Society.
Strangers. Society. Welcome to the Secret Society.
Strangers?
On this episode, we are diving deep into the forest of Suffolk, England, to the Rendlesham Forest. This started on a cold night, actually Boxing Day for some people, the day after Christmas, 1980, in Suffolk, England. Like I mentioned, it involved lights in the sky, a triangle-shaped craft, weird hieroglyphic symbols, missing time, and first-hand witness testimony and military personnel testimony. We got like almost all the boxes checked for alien stuff, except actual aliens. With me for this 80s flashback, as always, Josh and Jen. What's up,
What it
guys?
do?
What's flapping, strange people?
She did it.
And on this episode, we are bringing a special guest on. I have my good friend Evan here.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey.
Hello.
Evan brings a unique perspective to this society of strangers here. He is more skeptical when it comes to things like cryptids and alien encounters. So what makes this case important and special is that out of all the cases that I can talk about with this man here, this case actually holds a little bit of weight, and he'll actually talk about it with me instead of just considering me a crazy person or a tinfoil hat wearer.
Right.
I like that.
That's a nice way to say my friend Evan's kind of an asshole.
Only when
Very
it comes
roundabout
to
way.
this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I appreciate the
Like, don't act like there wasn't a time like you and Christy didn't sit me down in my den and be like, "You got to chill with the conspiracy theories, bro."
I appreciate the
You had a
scenic
conspiracy theory intervention.
Wow.
Clearly it stuck. Yeah.
Worked.
Good
really
talk.
Yeah.
Good talk.
Yeah, clearly it stuck.
did.
Also, you're weirdly looking this way every once in a while because that's where Lee's sitting. So, yeah.
Don't you like the Brady Bunch? You just talk like this.
Just look at everybody's
Look
square.
at the squares. Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, Rendlesham is special. One, for that reason. Two, because there is so much documentation and military documentation in particular. If you haven't heard of this case, this is almost considered England's Roswell. So we kind of had Brazil's Roswell. Now this is England's Roswell.
I like how everything gets their Roswell. It's like Roswell always gets its flowers.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about Roswell at all.
Not at all.
You haven't?
No.
It's
Roswell-
too obvious.
It's a bit on the
Yeah.
nose, yeah.
Too mainstream.
That's
Yeah.
the look over here.
Right. Oh.
Okay, are you guys ready?
Always.
Yes.
First, what do you have to do?
Like and subscribe.
There you go. As well as if you want to become a guest and not be almost related to me, you could email us at
ssospodcast@gmail.com.
ding, ding, ding. Hit the notification bell.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Leave
guys.
us 5 stars.
5 stars everywhere. Okay. So, first off, when we're talking about the Rendlesham Forest, we're not really talking about any forest. This forest is sandwiched in between 2 RAF air bases. So it has RAF Air Base Woodridge and Bentwaters. They like sit pretty much adjacent to each other. This forest that this incident happens in is smack dab in the middle. Also, what makes this a little bit more interesting is that this base at the time is rumored to be housing nuclear material. It is the middle of the Cold War, tensions are super duper high, and this place is also critical as a jumping point for the Americans. So Americans are operating both of these bases to keep an eye on the Soviet army to sum up the Cold War.
Yeah.
So this starts December 26th, like I said. Airman First Class John Burrow patrols his area on the east gate of the Woodbridge Air Base. At around 3 a.m., Burrows spots what he describes as a light in the sky descending into the forest. He says it lands about a half a mile away from the main runway in the base. So it's of concern because you're thinking, what is this weird light that just fell from the sky? It's a military person. Imagine Josh be questioning that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Just be like, all right, so what's happening? All right, cool. It's like the middle of the Cold War. Shit's going down. Yep, we're about to get fucked up.
So yeah, so this also being in a military setting, this goes up a chain of command. So this sighting gets announced and goes up a chain of command, and they get dispatched. So they get dispatched to the crash site, and Burroughs goes with another staff sergeant named Jim Pennington. They go to investigate. As they approach this forest, their walkie-talkies start malfunctioning. They don't know why. This gets weird. As they go deeper into the brush of the forest, they come upon a craft, a triangle-shaped craft, and I'm actually going to let Pennington describe that.
The craft was a triangular craft. It was black in color, very shiny. It was metal, but it was smooth as glass. Inside the fabric of this triangular craft, there was light movement of red and blue running through the fabric of it. I had pasted off, and it measured 9 feet by 9 feet by 9 feet. It was approximately, based on my height, I'm 6'2", so I estimated it at 7 feet tall. It was very small for aircraft.
So that is him years and years later. And we'll talk about it a little bit later on. Some of that testimony is contested later on by people who doubtful that this happened at all. Were you going to say something, Evan?
I just love the graphics, the CG work in
Yeah.
in like all recreations end up having like the same,
It's just like a stick man.
1998 level
Oh, yeah.
CGI. Yeah. Mhm.
Budgets are not big these days.
That made me
No.
the little sparkling that went across
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah,
craft.
that was a
That
nice
was
touch.
That was
that
It's a
was
really
a
nice touch.
impressive.
Yeah.
It was.
Very Mario paint.
Felt like
It
I was
was very
there.
bad.
Felt very sucked in.
It was like just having a VR
Yeah.
headset on. You were
Yeah.
Right.
drawn in.
Yeah. Sorry.
Hey. So that is what he describes triangle ship, smooth as glass. Burroughs' account differs. He reports lights. Well, let's back up a little bit. So Pennington goes up to this ship and touches it. A few things happen within that time. One, he says that he feels like a slowdown of time, and like he feels like he's walking through like molasses.
Like walking up to the ship, he feels like he's going slower, or as he's touching it.
Yeah. He describes it as like a field around it, like as he's walking up. The initial report, when he touches it, he just describes the shell, the outside being smooth as glass. Later on, he describes feeling like hieroglyphics and saying that they were rough like sandpaper.
Didn't he also say? I remember. I'm starting to get bits and pieces of this from when we did this on the Beta Den. Sorry to plug the old The old project.
Found out it's not really there anymore.
It doesn't really exist anymore at all. Yeah. Didn't he remark having like an emotional reaction as well? It wasn't just a slowdown in time. I thought I remember him saying he also, having like a strong emotional reaction to it.
Later on, his account becomes much more like elaborate.
Okay.
Initially, his reports to like his higher ups are not that detailed.
You don't want to put your feelings in the official report.
Yeah,
No,
no.
No.
Right. Yeah.
Certainly
there's-
not.
There's an account where he says like they lay down first, like to
Mhm.
get low and look at it, like. So
Yeah.
there's a few different versions as we have with all of these stories.
Cool.
Like I said, he walks up, he touches it, he then gets, again, later on in his account, he gets a download. We'll talk about that download a little bit later. Now, like I said, Burroughs'
Okay.
account is a little different. He reports seeing all the same stuff, the lights, the descending into the forest. He reports seeing a craft, but he does not report like going up and touching it. He can't tell you what it felt like or anything like that. Everyone good so far on where we are on
Hmm.
the middle of the woods.
The initial encounter.
Yeah.
Report.
Yeah.
So the strangest aspect of this initial encounter is the fact that the men thought they were in the woods for about 20 minutes. And when they came out of the woods, they found out they were gone for 45-ish minutes.
Oh, damn.
They also reported that in the woods, after the ship had taken off, they report that the ship takes off and maneuvers through the trees without being touched or touching any of the trees. And they report 3 indents in a triangular shape, like on the ground where the ship was.
Oh, and then
That's
that's
kinda
how he
it for
measured
that encounter.
it was.
Yeah, so we'll get to that too. Later that day. So this gets very confusing later on because this is 3 a.m. to like 4 a.m. in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and then so that's the 26th, and then they say like daytime of the 26th. So you're still in the same day where a lot of this next part of the investigation happened.
Oh.
So
Yeah, because it's like
later that
early morning.
yeah, actual local police are called out. They do their thing. They say it's nothing. It's animal tracks. It's rabbit burrowing. It's like, why are you even calling us? This is stupid. And that's kind of it for that night. They report it. They tell people about it. They go back that morning, now like 10-ish in the morning, they say, 11 in the morning, and they want to like preserve this evidence. So they take plaster casts of the print. And they say they're about 1.5 inches deep into the ground and then 7 inches in diameter, so 7 inches across. So pretty good foot if you're like a
Yeah, it's
triangle of a ship.
Light though.
Yeah. It was
yeah,
same
super
thing.
light.
Inch and a half. That's nothing.
Yeah, especially Rendlesham Forest is full of like pine trees and pine needles, so it's very like if it was a heavy ship, it'd be a lot of
It would
stuff
leave
disturbed.
a mark.
Bigger print. Yeah.
Mhm.
And there were only prints, no like propulsion marks, no like everything blown out of the way or scorch marks or anything like that on the ground. They report strange marks on the insides of the trees all around this clearing that the supposed landing happened. So all the trees have these weird marks, and they report that in their like report that day when they went back. Actually, Evan, I have a little bit of what Burroughs was feeling when he went up to the ship.
Yes.
Go.
Nailed it.
Here's exactly what I was thinking. I'm going out there with my mindset was like this. I'm going to go out and set up an entry control point for a downed aircraft, a crash. We're going to go ahead and tag classified material and body parts. That's what I'm thinking. And then we're going to set up the entry control point so we can get emergency response vehicles out there. When I got up to the area where I seen it wasn't an aircraft crash, and it was something that I couldn't identify, I was perplexed, not understanding what I was seeing. I hadn't been trained for anything even close to that, you know. So here's the gear adjustments were switching, were just crazy. I went from crash and recovery thoughts to I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what is in front of me. I'm confused. And this is not a comfortable situation for a security supervisor. You're confused. You're not sure what you're doing. Not sure what to do. And that's the feeling I was getting. Of course, I am talking back and forth with my teammates, and we're coming back with the same type of confusion. We're not sure what's going on in front of us.
So you can imagine, like, not being able to report what you're supposed to report is probably pretty frustrating.
Yeah, right.
It's like you were saying before. It's just wild because it's like height of Cold War. You're in another country to be on the front lines in case of like shit going down, and now you're looking at something you can't wrap your head around.
And then
Yeah.
I feel like the worst part is that if you feel like you're explaining it fully, you know you're going to be ridiculed and denied. Like, no one's going to listen to you. So, like,
Yeah.
you're like, no, I really saw this shit. It's serious.
It's not a forgiving audience.
So you have to, like, kid glove it to be like, weird, unidentified object fell because Cold War, Soviets, look at it maybe, just in case. Like, I didn't feel anything or see any weird hieroglyphics or.
But you also don't want to be the guy who like sets off all the alarms, and then it turns out to be nothing, or everyone's like, "What are we looking at? Inch and a
Space
half,
junk.
an inch
Yeah.
and a half, and
Double
then
plane.
you know,
Yeah.
it's a tough spot."
I think I said that was Burroughs. That was Pennington.
Yeah.
Again, like we just said, probably sitting on this, talking about it with like your 3 guys or 2 guys you were just with for the day, for the night. Word spreads around the base. People start talking about this. Now it's like something that people know about. They're looking for it. The next night, lights are reported again, but not acted upon, just reported and recorded. The next night, so the night of the 28th, is when the next and probably one of the most documented and interesting encounters with the UFO happen. So the lights are reported again on the 28th. Then Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt decides, like, okay, enough. Like, probably much like 20-year-old, like, going crazy about aliens. I gotta shut them up. And they go outside. He literally was quoted saying, I was a disbeliever. I was going to debunk this. That was his purpose of leaving that day. Collects a small team, Holt and a Sergeant Monroe Nevels and he brings a Geiger counter, which is interesting right off the bat. Nuclear threat scope, which
would make sense for the time, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the area and what like is supposedly hidden on the base is nuclear.
Yeah, so you want to make sure nobody's like trying to get your shit, or like something's leaking or something.
Just spy versus spy.
Or see if the craft was like nuclear powered.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because imagine at the time, like, you don't really know what people are doing with that yet. Like, you don't.
What the capabilities are, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're just honing it down to be used
Right.
in a less than constructive way. So, like,
That's a nice way to say atom bomb.
Yeah.
They're
One way to put
pretty
it.
much.
well, weapons.
Lee's got all the fluff tonight.
Dude, some of our episodes are heavy. This is April. This is my month. Thank you very much. This is All Aliens, All April. All right, so Nevels brings a Geiger counter. Also, Master Sergeant Bobby Ball heads out with them. He
Bobby
brings
Ball.
Master Sergeant Bobby Ball. That just sounds smooth as butter. You'd always want that dude on the case.
SSPB.
Call Bobby.
SSPB.
Somebody get Bobby Ball. Yeah.
Most importantly, on this second encounter, Holt brings his handheld tape cassette recorder. If you're younger and you're listening to this,
Analog.
tape cassette recorder actually requires like a tape, physical tape, to go inside. cassette tape. You can't just click and have like 72 megabytes of data saved.
72 milligrams
No.
of data.
I got milligrams.
Nope.
The Geiger counter measurements are like impossible words to say.
Oh,
When I was doing the research for it, it kind of,
Oh, like the actual measurement.
yeah,
like gigawatts. And,
Yeah.
that
Deca.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy other words of
Gigawatts.
that nature.
I'm not gonna.
Okay, so yes, Holt has this tape recorder. So this is why we actually have audio of this encounter. So this is the night that they reach the landing spot of the other ship. Now, Holt and his guys are going out to investigate what Burroughs and Pennington reported earlier and are reporting lights that night. This is their initial approach.
150 feet or more from the initial, I should say, suspected impact point. Having a lift going, we can't get the light all to work. Seems to be some kind of mechanical problem. Let's send back, get another light on. Meantime, we're going to take some readings with the Geiger counter and chase around here a little bit, wait for another light on to come back in.
So their lights went out.
A light off.
Classic
Light off.
interference.
What's
So
a
that's
light
the
off?
best they could do because it sounds like he's saying like lights and all, or like, and later on I think he said like the light won't go on, but it like subs it as like light at all or whatever.
Oh, gotcha.
But yes, he is having trouble with the light system. So they have like gas powered lights that are out there now. that, like,
They're all
he's
out there with
having-
lanterns.
Yeah, but like diesel, they're probably starting these big, like those the like football game things that are now
Oh,
electric
yeah.
generators. They're trying to set
Oh, a
those
generator?
Huh?
Like a
Yeah,
gas
like-
powered generator?
Yeah, they're like hooked up to light bulb.
And this alien is like, I've never seen such primitive. Like what?
Exactly.
Like,
What,
yeah,
are, what
what
are
the
they
fuck are you guys
burning?
doing?
Dinosaur blood? Like what? What is happening?
These heathens.
How did they do that? Yeah.
So many steps. No wonder why it doesn't work.
Yeah.
These guys really figured out how to split the atom? Come
Does
on,
not-
somebody's
yeah,
fucking with
right.
me.
That's why they're watching them. Yeah.
He's calling his boss. He's like, these are the guys that you're.
Are you
that
sure
I have
about
to- These are the people I have to check on. Yeah. That's good.
And that's why they're at all the nuclear sites. So if you don't know, aliens love nuclear
Love
bases.
nukes.
So
Yeah, they're trying to make sure
Mm,
it
don't
don't
love
fucking
that.
blow up.
they're known to intercept. There's quite a lot of reports of them intercepting some test missiles and some other accidental launches and shutting things down.
Have you guys listened
Hmm.
to the last what is it, podcast on the left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I skimmed it briefly, right? And one part I thought was, it's definitely got to give all the credit to them. But they had a theory that maybe the aliens are the spaceship, and they really like all our, they're always around like Air Force bases and stuff, and maybe it's like ships that are trying to have sex with other ships, right? Like they see these,
They're just going to find each other in the
right, they
woods.
see these fighter jets, and they're like, that is a sexy alien, right? And they're just trying to like mate,
But like this one got addicted to like human tech. So like
Right.
all the other spaceships are like, you like that shit?
Everybody's got their thing.
So it's like
That's
he's
true.
sucking all the
Yeah.
juice out of the lights.
Yeah.
Nothing's working. He's like, oh, this is
Mhm.
great.
Don't
But-
intergalactic kink
Yeah.
shame.
Easy to fuck with us for sure. Mhm.
Yeah. So I definitely want to bring up that theory. Throw that in the mix.
That's
of
solid. That
Mhm.
is solid.
Solid
jets,
theory.
just
Yeah.
jets trying to have sex with each other, really.
Yeah.
It's like the easy planet. That's what we
Yeah.
are.
The easy, these
Yeah.
sluts, yeah.
Transformers need love too.
Optimus Prime. Alone on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
So back to the
Anyway.
serious military investigation that is happening at the moment, guys.
Right.
Totally serious.
Not plain sex, right?
No. No aeroplane sex.
Arrow.
They start taking measurements with the Geiger counter while they're trying to get the lights to work.
Okay, we'll go out toward now it's picking up. This is out toward the number one indentation where we first got the strongest reading. Yeah, it's similar to what we got in the center.
So that's them bringing it closer to the center of the actual triangle, the imprint. We talk about like if it goes closer to the edge, the numbers go down. As it goes closer to the middle, it starts to spike.
Okay.
Gotcha.
It's interesting, I think, right? Like,
It's
Yeah.
recording some
Like, that's
evidence
something.
of something.
but it gets weirder because
Because why
they
would
start like seeing shit now on top of like recording weird shit. So now they start reporting that they're seeing like strange red light moving in the distance. I'm gonna throw it out here right now because everyone loves to talk about this. There is a lighthouse. If you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a little map you could look at. There is a lighthouse. It's not that far away, but it's far enough away where like it'd be hard to think that this thing was like moving towards you.
I forgot about the lighthouse.
I did
Okay.
I
not
figured you were
know.
gonna. That's why I just brought it up because I figured you were gonna.
You're already trying to cut me off at the pass for like, well, there was a lighthouse, so gotcha.
Yeah, but couldn't you time that though for how right
Exactly.
Yeah,
to
but, like, if
debunk
you're-
or not?
Yeah.
They're
The
not usually
lighthouse.
red lights either, right? A
I
lighthouse.
think that they're coded sometimes.
Oh.
Like he's like don't.
Maybe it's a
whatever.
near military thing.
Plus-
Yeah.
Hey, don't come here.
Don't stay
An
the fuck out.
extra, yeah.
I'm busy having plane sex.
Yeah, plane
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah.
It's the red light district for planes.
This is
Yeah,
a spaceship
ah.
orgy. Stay away from the
That's-
spaceship orgy.
Just
Thank
you don't want any part of this.
Like,
Trust
for
you
your
have
own safety.
upside down pineapple.
For your
in
eyes.
space. All right, so here's a little bit more of them investigating the area.
Looks like an area here, possibly. It could be a blast. It's in the center of the ball. You gotta take this one thing about 3 years up to what, 7? What? Just jumped up to what, 7/10 there. 7/10 right here in the center? Uh-huh. We found a small blast, what looks like a blasted or scrubbed up area here. We're getting very positive readings. See, is that near the center? Yes, it is. This is what we would assume would be the dead center. Just picking up more as you go along the whole area here now. Up to 7/10 or 7 units, it's called on the 0.5 scale. Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we make a sweep? Here, I've got the gloves on now. Let's make a sweep out around the whole area, about 10 foot out. Make a perimeter run around it. Starting right back here at the corner. Back at the same first corner where we came in. Let's go right back.
So it's more of him directing the guys to like now make a perimeter after getting spikes on the meter.
So it's like 7/10, like a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
like
what-
what is
I was
the
That's what I
wondering.
was just
So,
thinking.
like I
Sounds
said,
it.
I looked it up. I
He
looked into
started
this.
bugging out.
Yeah, I know. He seemed very upset.
Yeah, he was tense.
It's like,
when
oh, I gotta get the
was-
gloves.
I got the gloves now.
For
Yeah.
me, as a layman, it was very hard to understand. So when you punch this into like a search engine and like ask for like, is this higher than normal background radiation? So it's just like any other form of like, so most familiar with people would be like digital storage. So there's megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes. There's the same thing for radiation. So it depends on like what 0.7, what that 7 was. Was it one like server? I forgot what they call them exactly, or like another unit of measurement.
Oh.
'Cause he just says 7 units.
Yeah.
Right.
So you
Right.
don't know. There's like a bunch of different like things, and of course, in true UFO mystery fashion, it's everything. So because of depending on what form of measurement it is, it's either significant or just regular background radiation. So, but they seem concerned. He's
He
not going
seems
around
reactive to it.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe not like we need to get the biohazard suits and clear the area, but definitely like it was significant enough to warrant
Yeah,
a
and,
reaction.
and you hear
it's
the
different.
clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I mean, if there's no radiation, those things don't really make noise. So if there's some kind of level of something there, it's making noise.
I'm just glad he had his gloves.
Hmm
It's gloves
Forget
and-
your brain or
Yeah, you just
anything. We don't
gloves.
care.
That's right.
Hands.
Again, man. having this, and I could play like this is a really long tape. It's like I think it's like half an hour long, and it's just dudes in the woods mumbling about seeing weird shit. Because now they start to like see the light, like I said, and start like describing what is happening in like real time, like towards them. It does a bunch of weird shit.
And this is 2 days, right?
Yeah, so this is the
After.
night of the 28th.
Okay.
In the later memo that Halt writes, he actually records the date wrong. He records this as the 29th, and it's amended and changed in the
Oh, okay.
thing. So like it's again perfect for UFO lore. Just muddy up the dates and change things around just a little bit. Dope.
I guess since you said doubtful, if I was going to do like a devil's advocate thing, right?
Mhm.
Like as we're going along in the story,
Mhm.
I'm always trying to think of, well, like, right, like what if, or
Yeah.
what else could be happening here,
Mhm.
and you can start to attribute the both for like group hysteria or group think.
Mass
Right,
hysteria, yeah.
Well, it's that you now have these guys who, again, we talked about the Cold War settings, and you're on a base separated by woods. You probably don't see a lot of action,
Tensions are high
and
anyway.
and now all of a sudden there's this unexplained thing, and you figure if it's the next day, it's a bunch of young guys in a base, nothing else to fucking talk about, and this can start to get ramped up.
Hey, yeah.
Again, not to say that nothing's happened, but
I
you always have to start to play the other scenarios of like, could it be something like this?
yeah,
You know?
and I agree with you up until the point they start describing what they're seeing.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to listen to that, we can listen to that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, what are they seeing?
Right on this position here, straight ahead, in between the tree. There it is again. Watch, straight ahead off my flash right there. So there it is. Hey, I see it too. What is it? We don't know, sir. So can I get some of it? Yeah, it's a strange, small red light. You'll see out maybe a quarter to half mile, maybe further out. I'm going to switch off. The light is gone now. It was approximately 120 degrees from the site. Is it back again? Yes, sir. Oh, that's the flashlight set. Let's move out to the edge of the clearing so we can get a better look at it. See if you can get the star scope on it. The light's still there, and all the barnyard animals have gotten quiet now. Yeah, we're heading about 110 to 120 degrees from the site out through to the clearing now. Still getting a reading on the meter. About 2 clicks. You can count 3 to 4 clicks, getting stronger. Now it's coming up. Hold on, there we go. About approximately 4 foot off the ground. Come to set of 110 degrees. All right, just turn the meter off. You gotta say that again.
So they're reporting back, and he tells him what he's seeing and the height and the distance. So right then you hear him say, "Turn the meter off," because the meter's running and he's trying to record. And he asks him to repeat it again.
About 4 feet off the ground, about 110 degrees, getting a reading of about 4 clicks. Yes, sir. Yeah, but it's dying. No, it's dying. I think it's something other than the ground. I think it's something variable here. Tree right over. We just frightened the first nightbird we've seen. We're about 150 or 200 yards from the site. Everything else is just deathly calm. There's no doubt about it. There's some type of strange flashing red light ahead. It's yellow. I saw a yellow tinge in it too. Weird. It appears to be maybe moving a little bit this way. Yes, it's brighter than it has been. Yellow. It's coming this way. It is definitely coming this way. Pieces of it are shooting off. There is no doubt about it. This is weird. To the left. Yeah, definitely moving to the left. Two lights. One light to the front, one light to the left. Keep the flashlights off. There's something very, very strange. Get the headset on. See if it gets any stronger. Okay. Give us your rundown. Notation that this is on a beta reading, too. It's on a beta reading? Okay. Still has been removed. Okay. Pieces are falling off it again. But it just moved to the right. Yeah. Off to the right. Strange. Oh, well, what do you left?
So they're seeing,
It's creepy.
yeah,
Super creepy,
yeah.
especially when it like breaks apart.
Yeah.
mhm.
Is
So to
Make-
clarify, because it's so choppy. What's
right? No, when they're talking about break apart, the light.
The light. So what they're
Right.
describing is, at first, this light kind of starts off lower on the ground, and then it moves up, and that's when, like, you could imagine you're looking through all these trees and all this brush. All these men are kind of like spread out a little bit, so they all have a little bit of a different perspective. So you kind of hear him say, like, move over again, so he can get a better line on it. And then he sees it kind of ascend a little bit. And then they see like stuff falls off of it. Like they see other little lights fall off.
I'm picturing like fireworks, how you see when they like decay,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
pieces falling
Yeah,
off.
that's a good way.
And then he starts to describe it as it's moving closer to him. So he starts
They start
saying,
getting very
definitely
excited.
moving closer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I think now at this point, at first it's out there, it's a light. I think any rational person is saying lighthouse, person with a flashlight, something normal. And then it starts behaving very weird. It starts coming towards them, and as it's coming towards them, it's still like dropping off pieces of it, is what they describe. And at one point, even I think he describes, like in a later interview, as like it came off in all directions.
Oh, just like
down.
scattered out.
Yeah, they went all over. So like that's seasoned, not really seasoned. I guess they're probably pretty young. One's being like panicky and emotional about like something they don't really recognize and don't have a protocol for. Like the army is so protocol driven, or the military is so protocol driven. Like once that decays, they're like, he just has to repeat, "This is strange."
Yeah, that's all he can keep saying.
Nothing to say, yeah.
I mean, this is the perfect place for him to keep saying it.
It's a nice perspective, though. I've been thinking you don't really, and you guys would know more than me, but you don't really get the combination of like a real-time alien encounter that's being documented in such a detailed and consistent way. Like you always hear the accounts from people after the fact.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas this
Or
is
you get the iPhone. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? What
Right.
the fuck is that?
Right.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how about calm down for 2 seconds and maybe we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it feels like a very scientific approach, which I liked right off the bat.
Yeah. And he's recording it to, he assumed, just submit it as official
For evidence,
investigation.
yeah.
You're right.
To check back with later. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why he's saying, like, you have to turn the meter off and say that again, because
Right.
like, and when I listen to this tape back, I want to be able to say like it was this, and this.
Yeah.
So what are the prevailing theories on, did they ever find any more landing sites like the OG, or no?
No, and that's interesting you asked too, because that was one of the things that like even makes me go, like I would imagine there'd be something. The way they describe that stuff coming off is like a molten metal.
Oh, okay.
So you would imagine
Different than
you'd
what I was thinking.
find blobs
Yeah.
of molten metal or whatever it was left in the whatever.
But then would some of the pieces move as well? Wasn't there a part where he's like, okay, now there's two over there?
Yeah. So he does describe, I think this might be this.
Don't let depend on you count the clicks. Right. Okay, that's Thursday. Yes, it gets louder. Right, put the light on it and sweep around it. It was flat. Put it on the ground every once in a while. This looks like an abrasion on the tree. Okay, we'll catch that on the way back. Let's go around. Pull back, hit it there. I got any interest right over here. It looks like an abrasion pointing into the center.
That was back in the
area. It may be old though. There's
when they
some
were
snap
checking
marks or
the
something on it.
meter at the
Let's go on back around.
I do have one more audio that's like the most dramatic audio of this whole shit, which is like, man, beat me up, Scotty. That's all I want. That's all I fucking want.
You just wanted too bad.
I know.
Who knows?
Can't do anything
They don't want you.
Right.
That's the problem. Not him.
He's fucking
Not that
crazy.
guy. He knows too
Or they've
Yeah, there
already
you
done
go.
it and just erased your memory so good.
Oh, that would be wrong.
Yeah, Evan, you know,
Aw.
like, or even Jen probably knows. You know, like in the medical field, like how like certain clients have like a different like logo in the computer or something.
Oh, Lord.
the
Oh,
like a
yeah.
file,
star. Yeah,
there's
I got that shit
a weird color sticker.
all over my file. Don't abduct that one.
Yeah.
Not this guy.
Handle with care.
Unprobable.
Not probing me. I'm not gonna complain about that one.
Right. Too
Too
probable.
probable.
That's what it is.
Too probable.
We like resistance. This is like a BDSM kind of thing. We don't like you to like it
No
too much.
fun.
That's
No
what you
fun.
need to start manifesting now.
It's just me on an alien ship pulling down my pants. Like, where's the probe, guys? What's happening?
Yeah. They're like, we don't actually
Yeah,
do
dude.
that.
Oh man,
Get
could you just pull your
fucking
pants up and get
pants
the
That
on.
was
fuck
an
out of
urban
here?
legend that somebody started.
Yeah. What the
One
fuck?
anal probe and everyone thinks it's our thing.
Oh.
Yeah. We have one guy who did something one time. His name's Greg. It's like fucking
always
Greg.
Greg. It's
God
always
damn it.
Greg.
It's always a Greg.
Greg probed that
So
guy.
they are seeing this weird thing in the woods. Again, no one's being abducted.
Yet.
Okay, here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now. Now we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal. 3:30, 3:30, and the objects are still in the sky, although the one to the south looks like it's losing a little bit of altitude. We're turning around and heading back toward the base. The object to the south is still beaming down lights to the ground. 400 hours, one object still hovering over Woodbridge Base at about 5 to 10 degrees off the horizon, still moving erratic and similar lights and beaming down this area.
So now it's just lighting things up.
Beaming down a light.
Okay.
Fucking with them?
That's
Like,
what I'm
hey,
trying to like. What's the
like what?
motive for this now?
Reminds me of like a laser
Yeah.
pointer with a
A
bunch
few
of
days
cats.
later. I mean, because you've been seen to some degree,
Yeah.
at least your craft. I'm just trying to.
That's the question. Like, what do they want? What are they here for? What do they want all the time? I suggest that if they were here, they were looking at the nuclear supply or whatever that's there.
Yeah, the beaming of light down, whether it's some sort of ray, like the X-ray type thing.
I also
or what,
wonder, like,
Yeah.
so now put yourself in the shoes of a superior race that's monitoring a child with a handgun, right? Like, you have to approach carefully. You don't want to get shot. So, like, maybe they're kind of testing the waters. Like, okay, if like we like creep down, are they just going to blast these things off? Like, how willing are they to use this stuff?
That's what the lights falling off were.
Yeah.
They're decoys.
There,
Like,
yeah.
shoot at that.
Oh yeah, little
Shoot at
flares.
that.
As well as like,
Yeah.
if you're doing any kind of reconnaissance, like you send down one probe, 1, 2, 3 ships in different spots, and you kind of just record the response of the first responding team. And now you go back and tell, the big gray alien that, hey, this is what they're doing. Man, now we know how to like draw them out or do whatever you want to do. Strategic, I'm saying.
Or they were like, they didn't do shit.
Right.
So let's go look at what
Yeah.
we want to see because
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
doing anything. We're fine.
Yeah, again, but you don't know like what the message is. It could be so many things. It could be like, here, yeah, look at us, we're here. Maybe don't push the button, like, or like just
Right.
who knows what they're thinking. But
why don't they just tell us? I don't understand. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
why
can
do they
just,
dick
like,
around?
No.
telepathy. They could just tell us.
It's
oh,
enough
it's funny
already.
you say that. They just might have.
I
Oh,
hate the alien edging.
and I actually don't know anything about this story.
Uh,
Okay.
First, the night ends and they go back to the base. Holt makes a memo, a 1-page memo of exactly what happens. He details triangular shape of the craft in the initial sighting. He notes the indents on the floor, the lights in the sky. He puts everything in this memo. At first, the memo doesn't really go anywhere. Kind of just is a
Of course
memo
not.
that he wrote up. 2 weeks later, he decides to send it to the Ministry of Defense. Now, only the base knows about this. The public doesn't know about this yet. Like, this is still military classified information. That he sends it to the Ministry of Defense. They say, okay, it was nothing. The police came out, looked at it. They said it was nothing. We say it's what they said it was. Let's just forget about it. Years later, all this stuff comes out. There's a FOIA request That's when everyone finds out about the memo. So like they were easily just like, hey guys, just don't talk about this. Never happened. And no public knew about it. So again, you're in an echo chamber talking to your friends about aliens, and as soon as you leave that echo chamber, you're gonna be like, this crazy guy said he went to fucking England and saw a UFO.
Was there a report from one of them that they said there were some men who showed up
Yeah,
that were
I remember
investigating
that.
it? Am I jumping the gun on you? Okay.
No, you're right on time. Right on time. No civilian knew about it, supposedly, except this Vince Doorkettle, who was like a local woodsman, like lumberjack
Local
kind
wild
of.
man.
Johnny
Yeah, like give
Appleseed.
him this
Yeah.
real like cabin in the woods, like little bird in his beard vibe. Like he's
Yeah,
it's just some
wholesome
Okay.
Disney
random.
shit. He's one of the
Yeah.
seven dwarves.
Davy
Uh,
I
Crockett.
like it.
so he claimed that strange unidentified men came around and asked him a bunch of questions. He says they said
in
in
suits.
suits.
Men in Blacks.
They were in suits.
He actually gets a little cranky when you call him Men in Black because he says, "I never said that, but you described that." So,
It's literally what you described.
so he says, they said, "Did you leave the house at all? Did you see anything?" And I said, "What?" They said, "Oh, there's reports of some red lights in the forest. We're just checking." And two of them, very politely but firmly, asked me probably about 20 questions. I thought they were journalists. They suddenly said, "Oh well, fair enough. There's probably nothing," and left. So I bought the papers every day for the next few weeks to see if there was anything in it, and there was no news in it.
Well, when you ask, like, who are you? Why are you
Yeah.
asking me?
They
Who the
just don't answer.
Right.
They probably just don't answer. Like
Well, then
again, I guess
whatever.
unless he just really just was like journalists, and like of course, if there's someone asking questions, the
Mm.
journalist.
Yeah, I mean, he does live in a cabin in the woods.
That,
Yeah, he's just
that's
a cranky
true.
Yeah.
hermit.
Like the
Which-
last time when someone talked to me was when that girl was trying to save the tree in the 90s.
Yeah, he's not asking questions. Besides, what do you want?
Yeah.
Leave me
Nope.
alone.
Let me go back to my woodwork.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Feeds his beard bird.
Opens it up. It's like toot toot. So I drop the mouse.
Oh my god.
So now it's official FOIA request. It comes out. It falls into UFO internet lore, and people descend on Rendlesham Forest and do all kinds of investigations. And that's where we get all these different like accounts of like what night it happened. It was this, and like the just so many people like this story because of that military what credit, certification, officialness, documentation.
Documentation, probably.
Documentation, because there's more, like I was saying, like real time, but like hard evidence than I think you get a lot of the times.
Definitely. Especially yeah, like in real time, watching it happen and recording it.
Do they still have
Clearly.
the cast they made?
They still have the cast they made. If you're watching this on YouTube, there's probably pictures of it.
And the one guy, the main guy that was doing the report in the beginning, didn't he write
He
a
wrote a
book
book.
where he started journaling a bunch of stuff
Journaled a
after
bunch of
this
stuff.
of like it was further
This is why
communication?
we had a podcast. Because back to what they wanted. So later on, after books are written, after interviews are done, Pennington goes under hypno regression, and his accounts kind of get more elaborate. They don't really necessarily change, they just become way more detailed, and he seems to either play up it or remember more. So he starts saying that, yeah, when he touched the ship, he got like a download of binary code.
Mm.
Yes.
And in that binary code, of course, it was put onto the internet, sleuths went, everyone decoded it. So that binary code was decoded and says the following: exploration of humanity 6668100. Then there's a latitude and longitude, which is high Brazil. It's not a continent anymore. It's like on old maps, I think. Continuous for planetary advancement, fourth coordinate conduit UQS QBRP before, whole bunch of other coordinates. Now, these coordinates have been also looked up and they fall on ley lines. I haven't done an episode on ley lines yet, but basically they're really specific points all across the globe that like have latitudes that line up with each other. So this is in Brazil, Arizona, Egypt, China, and Greece. So those are the different locations. And then it says eyes of your eyes, origin, Pi Brazil, another latitude, longitude, origin year 8100, 8,100.
So from the
6,000
future.
years? That's 6,000? No. That's 6,000 years in the future? I could do math. Easy, simple math with zeros. No problem.
Yeah, great.
That is correct.
So, like I said, this is what he accounts later on. He has a notebook with binary writing in it. That's where they get to decode it from. Again, if that's true, if that's embellished, it's interesting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Put a lot of time into writing that binary code to make it say nonsense words.
Yeah.
That and like it would be really hard to just, let's say you were making stuff up, to just recall all those coordinates. Like to remember how to exactly state
Specifically.
through binary code. Yeah, that'd be really
He
hard
says
to
it was
do.
a download. So a download essentially is like information put into your head, and a lot of people describe it as like
I know kung fu.
In real life, though, they describe it as like it's not always there the whole time. Like it's there, it'll flash, it'll hold on for like just enough time for them to like write it down or get it out, and then it's gone. So
Okay.
if that's the case. This is the part of it that I always consider like shaky. I don't. It's fun, like I said. I put it at the end, but like
Yeah. How long after his initial encounter does he start doing all these other additional
like
rememberings?
well into like the 90s. So
Sounds
this
like
like stuff
grift.
is like mid 90s. Yeah, like I said, books have been written. There's like endless documentaries. There's all like the Robert Stack, Unexplained Mysteries. It's all like so. There's reasons to make your story sound better.
Yeah, a little embellishing. Like, there was that one thing that I just remembered.
Yeah, which is if that's true, it's unfortunate because the evidence before that is so credible.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, does he ever give any indications that he would do that or go down that route?
No, he seems earnest when he talks. He doesn't seem like he's like.
Has he made
Yeah,
money?
I don't think anybody makes money off of this.
I'm sure, like he's made some
Except for
money.
the ancient aliens guy.
Yeah, I don't think he makes like a living. I don't think like his royalty checks are like paying the mortgage.
Right.
Well, I recently watched. If you guys have seen, there's like a new Manson documentary on Netflix. And one of the things they went into on that is the prosecutor. He had like a script writer in the courtroom when they were doing the thing. He knew. He's like, I'm going to take this case. I'm going to convince Manson, and I'm going to make a book about it, which he did. And then they made a movie, and he became a multimillionaire.
You think they were thinking that
but that was
in
like
the
his
woods?
plan. That was his plan.
When they were planning out the woods.
Oh no! But like years later, does he think like this is a pretty good fucking story?
That's why I say that because that's like fluff to be like, I need to get on this TV show because I want a little check, so I'm gonna just.
Well, okay. So, what other plausible theory other than the lighthouse have people come up with to explain what they saw and the radiation and all that?
There's not much. There's an argument that the radiation is just normal background radiation. So.
Right, because we don't know what the units were.
Sieverts there. So background radiation levels typically range from 0.05 to 0.10 microsieverts per hour, or 0.2 MREMs per hour, which is much lower than 1.1 MR.
Clearly.
This
Mm.
makes a
Everyone
lot
with
of
us?
sense now.
Everyone
Yeah,
with us?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah,
That's
I
all you
got
had to
Uh,
say in the beginning, Lee.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah,
Insult our
please.
intelligence.
Could have ended this episode in
Everyone's
5
smarter
minutes.
than me then. Shit. So
Yeah,
exactly.
we're all
So
avid Geiger counter enthusiasts on our weekends.
natural background radiation is the main source of exposure for most people. The levels typically range between 1.5 and 1.3 millisieverts a year. So like again, now these are higher because they're millisieverts. I don't fucking know. Typical chest X-ray exposure, a patient gets about 0.1 millisieverts, which is the same amount of radiation people are exposed to naturally over the course of 10 days. So we've
So
gotten,
then it sounds like this was 10 times an X-ray.
Yeah.
yes, if they're doing it that way, the 0.1, that's what it seems.
If you think of 0.1 for a chest X-ray, and if that was, what do you say, 1.1 or something like that? So you're talking about at least 10 times
If
more
we're
than
on
an
the
X-ray.
right.
That's a lot of radiation if you think about it. That,
I
That
mean,
seems
yeah.
I would
significant,
like
yeah.
to,
yeah, because
stand
don't they
next
tell
to
you
you.
to only to get like an X-ray like once or twice a year or some shit like that?
Get the
Yeah,
get the
Get the
gloves.
we got
gloves.
years,
Yeah.
It's time
we
to
got
get the
years
gloves.
off our lives, man. I'm not green yet. I was hoping I'd be green by that big
Yeah.
and strong green.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
Nope,
back in there
not
now.
anymore. Well, now you don't like. Everybody's got a piece of data.
I mean, we gown up and but yeah.
Back in my day, I ate that radiation.
What are you afraid of radiation poisoning?
You think this hair left because I wanted it to?
I like my radiation and my lead paint chips. Thank you very much.
You fucking dweeb. Yeah.
I'm the
Tommy.
most radiated. I actually had to have radiation. I have
Really?
radiation burn.
You actually, you actually.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to think about any microsieverts I got.
Yeah. You've had
If
your
for
fill.
whatever reason you're listening to this or watching this and you do understand the measurements and you can explain it in a way that makes
I don't-
sense,
Help.
I don't
put it in
want
the
to.
Comment.
comments. Let us
Sure.
know.
Not reading it.
But really,
Forget the
other
radiation. What about the lights?
than hoax and lighthouse, there's not many other things besides, like I've said, like mass hysteria. There aren't many.
Swamp
Right.
gas.
There was no craft actually found, no debris, no bodies, no fire, nothing to say
What was
like.
on the trees? You never said
Well,
what was on the
Yeah,
trees.
like what kind of markings was it? Just like scuffed up trees?
Said
There was
abrasion.
abrasion, so there were marks that looked like they could have been burn marks. They don't actually say that, but they say that it looks like the sap crystallized fast. So that's what he says on the tape, which is interesting, but I don't know how much of an expert he is on tree sap.
It's winter.
Other people say like those are trees that are marked to be fell. So like someone who just went around like and just whacked it with an axe and now it just has
Could
a
be
nick in it.
the woods the hermit guy. He was marking it with his axe.
Could have been.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Who
doing an
knows?
expansion on the old
Yep.
cabin.
I guess you gotta factor in the possibility of just since they're military bases, an enemy craft of some kind.
An
right, that they
advanced
just
drone,
couldn't-
yeah, some kind.
Yeah.
There's some kind of-
I don't
Goddamn
know. You
Lockheed
always gotta
Martin.
think of that.
All those black budget stuff, you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, around the same time, they're doing like what's the stealth bomber?
SR-22. The
I think it's
Blackbird.
B something.
Or
No,
the
like,
B-52.
first, the B-52. Like that, isn't that right around now too? Like right around the Cold War?
I feel like late '80s, early '90s
Yeah,
makes sense for that.
So they were like
I
these
don't know why.
weird, sleek black things
Feels
are
right.
happening.
I feel it in my bones.
It just feels right.
I mean,
That's
I
my
guess
evidence.
you can like say maybe there was something like totally mundane in the background of woods, like a quad or something something with a headlight that was moving around.
Yeah.
Maybe they just like were all hyped up and saw it. Like
Right.
besides those things, like how do you describe no sound, this thing moving towards you, the indents on the ground,
Multiple
beam of light.
people documenting, tracking this light in real time. Yeah.
And then it just like splitting off.
It's right, and and again, their Air Force, like this is their strength. This is their
Right.
forte.
Yeah.
Aircraft.
Pretty much.
So
Mhm.
right. So like again, it's the most credible source for me, or one of the most that I've heard,
God.
for it to be a significant thing. I remember us investigating a theory outside of potentially like extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
time
I was
travel.
gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
That's still
Oh,
it's kind of
did I?
extraterrestrial, but not really.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, because the
Okay.
year 8100 thing.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Uh, that and shit. When we,
Here.
I thought when we
Here.
researched this, there was.
Let
Is it
let
the
me
physicist the guy?
assist you, sir.
There's a physicist dude who said that if you're gonna communicate through time, right, you'd have to use binary
Yeah.
code.
Well, that's what's that guy's name with the white hair? Josh.
Einstein.
Yogo Machioto.
I
Whatever.
Oh.
was thinking too. I'm so with you.
Michio Kaku.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's physicist.
George
Yeah,
R.
it's
Martin,
Any
I just
gentleman over
Bill Murray.
60.
Yeah.
there are certain names that like my brain refuses to remember, so I make other people just that person for me. So like Josh, you anytime I need that guy's name, you're the guy I point to. There's like Christy, there's names with my wife, I just say that person. She's my memory for that person.
There we go.
But back to the radiation. The radiation might have been significant. Years and years, I'm talking years, like early 2000. Burroughs got militarily reimbursed for medical reasons for unknown like cancer. So he suffered from like a bunch of health issues, and he focused more on like his physical stuff. So he talks about missing time. He talks about the fact that like his health was never right after that, and then I guess he put in over and over like requests to the VA for like, hey, this happened when I was at Bentwater. Like, can I have some medical coverage? And they were just denied him for years until he won a case. And now he has his coverage. Crazy because it literally kind of is like he secured military disability for his injuries received from radiation and exposure to a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what his shit says. That's hey man.
There's no denying it.
I don't want radiation, but that's a pretty cool plaque.
That's how you get a free
There
drink
you
at the
go.
bar. Anytime you go to. Let me
Yep.
just show you this.
Do you know who I am?
You know, yeah. Want to hear something cool? Yeah.
That's when some of the other guys started getting like at the same time that have testified now that there are a lot of service members that are getting 100%
Oh yeah,
disability
because
due
of
to
radiation and stuff, exposure to these
Yeah.
things.
It's harder to hide now. Yeah, it probably was like a class action group.
So yeah, I'm curious what would have changed with the VA like internally, not that they would ever tell
FOIA
us.
request.
No,
It's
just
literally
that they
just
would start to actually acknowledge
it's
to
the
the
pressure.
service
It's the
member.
pressure
That's the
from
pressure.
FOIA requests. So
Ah,
as the years go, so like one is okay. Like one you can say that's nothing, they're crazy, whatever. But like through the 90s, once people started realizing everyone's just putting in requests, and over they're finding all these different things and all this stuff we talk about, the skunk works, the bases all over the place, Dolce base, all this stuff comes out, and we're like, half the papers redacted, and you just get like RFA Bentwaters, UFO,
Mm.
contact, Burroughs, Pennington, and like the rest of it's all thick black mark. So it's like, well, okay, so
What's the point here?
Right.
What's even the point? Like here, we
I think
release
it's
No,
just
this.
the
no, you
confusion.
didn't.
No, you did
It's the
nothing. Yeah.
confusion. It's like let's put a little bit out and like get them all riled up, and they'll forget about asking us real
Right.
questions.
And so, as far as we know, nothing else ever happened at that base.
No other
That
reports
we
at
know
that
of.
base like this, like military credible reports. I'm sure you can find kook like me out in the woods saying they saw something there. But I haven't heard otherwise.
Look out for the abrasions.
They're
They're
The sap
everywhere.
is crystallized.
It's crystallized.
It's
Ah!
fully crystallized. I know my
Oh
sap.
no!
I know myself.
The
Yeah,
key.
who gives a shit? Let me just try to walk
Fuck,
through the
man.
forest.
What
You
a
came
nice
with me,
walk.
so guess what? The third witness, obviously, Holt, is obviously the main credible witness in this thing. He recorded the whole thing. He stays steadfast throughout the decades that this is exactly what he recorded, is exactly what he saw. He doesn't get involved really with any of the other experiencers and like doesn't recount the same way. He has said though to people that have said like it wasn't real or like it was a lighthouse, says while in Rendlesham Forest, our security team observed a light that looked like a large eye, red in color, moving through the trees. After a few minutes, the object dropped something that looked like molten metal. A short while later, it broke into several smaller white colored objects which flew away in all directions. Claims by skeptics that they were merely a sweeping beam from the distant lighthouse is unfounded. We could see the unknown light and the lighthouse simultaneously. The latter was 30 to 40 degrees off where all of this was happening.
So did anybody go to like see if any actual molten metal did drop from this thing?
And nothing
See
was
if-
found.
Nothing?
Again, by people
Allegedly.
that would have reported it.
Yeah.
You know, who says they didn't go in and just swoop everything up and it happened.
Well,
You know, they did it with Roswell.
Yeah, I imagine these guys too, as much as they are telling, like they probably were under for a long time strict orders to leave a ton of important shit
Probably.
Yeah,
out.
so
that's
exactly.
true.
That's
Mhm.
also
Very
why.
true.
So it's like even the fact too that like the little bit that we do have is so
Mhm.
credible. Think of all the mountain of information that we're not getting,
Right.
Well, the
you
fun
know,
lies
that they're not allowed to report.
because
Yeah.
even Holt like is he waited till he retired, but he'll still double down. He says, "I believe the objects I saw at close quarters were extraterrestrial in origin. That security service of both the United Kingdom and United States have attempted both and then and now to subvert the significance of what occurred in Rendlesham Forest, RAF Bentwaters, by the use of well-practiced methods of disinformation." And that's verbatim quote from a retired military official. Like,
Yeah.
not me saying it, so
No.
So it must be true.
well, I'm the guy who sits here and just tells you all the things and lets you decide what you want to believe.
You choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
He left out the part where they were dropping acid every night.
Ah, that's right.
Little do we know, like RFA was like a RA like a
Yeah.
LSD base. They were like checking all that shit.
This is
Yeah,
where
you know.
MK Ultra
It was the
started.
80s.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the CIA in the 80s. They're just tossing acid at everybody. Yeah.
You were talking about something before, Evan. I forgot what you had said about Burroughs.
The time
Yes,
travel?
the time travel. So Burroughs does later
Uh,
report that, but he says that I don't believe what I saw was extraterrestrial. He says I believe it was humans from the future coming back
Oh.
to give a message. Which would be interesting if you tie it to our last episode, the Ariel School incident, like a
Mhm.
coming back with a
Mm.
message, take care of the planet kind of situation.
Yeah. And look at us, still fucking it
We're
up.
right on track there.
It's better
job.
than ever.
killing it.
Literally.
Literally killing it. That was that's like kind of the turnaround for me. Something that I was able to kind of latch onto that allowed me to be
The
more
future?
open-minded about this situation. The time travel because I
Blows
forget
my
there was some quantum physicist or some motherfucker who was talking about this case and brought up the whole, and I can't explain it because I didn't understand
It
it, but
fascinates me that that's the thing.
that if a way to communicate through time as a dimension is binary.
I just find it so
Yeah,
interesting that
so
that's how like your brain latched onto that part and like made sense of it, other than like billions
I-
of planets.
I'm not saying I necessarily believe it either. I just felt like that was the most. I don't know why the time travel aspect of it
It makes the most sense for you.
opened
All right,
a
that's
door.
fine.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get
it
what
opened
you're
a door,
saying.
and it
Whatever it takes, that's fine.
Yeah, I get what he's saying.
all the coordinates. It reminded me is like, okay, figure it's the year 8100. Time travel could be just like going on a Disney
Mhm.
cruise. Like it's just an attraction. So let's go back to the year 2000 when the oceans were way lower and look at all this cool shit. It's almost like, and
The
not to
Hall of
say that,
Presidents, that's the worst fucking ride, man.
yeah,
Worst
again, I'm not
score.
trying to say, I'm not trying to say that this was essentially like future Chuck E. Cheese, and that's what was happening here. But I don't know. I liked the tie-in of all the coordinates. It seems like it was places of interest. The communication through the dimension of time being like binary would be something that makes sense for that. And not to say that aliens, and you would know better than me if there's documented proof of them using binary code to communicate in different like instances, right? But like it would make sense that a human would assume that another human, even a prehistoric to them human, would be able to understand that form of communication. Like if you were going to try to communicate with a caveman now, you'd use pictures, right? Like
Mhm.
cave art
Yeah.
or something like that that you
Yeah,
think they
I
could
understand what
understand.
you're saying. Like, it totally
Right.
makes
Right. So like those are, I don't know, avenues that I like to go
cool
down
with
with it.
me. I'll call you back the next time we have a
Uh-huh.
time travel. So,
Cool.
Time
Yeah.
episode.
Well, I
Yeah.
think the aliens are gonna have to break out the crayons
start
and
drawing for us.
Yeah,
bring it
explain
down a notch
We
because
need more
clearly,
pictures. This book has no pictures.
clearly, they-
We
Now
don't
crop
get it.
circles are on the
we're
rise.
not,
We don't
we're
get it.
not, yeah, we're not understanding.
They're like, we tried, guys. Look at the caves. There's pictures
Yeah.
everywhere. The,
The lights
Um,
were
the
breaking
pyramid
off.
is
Did you see the light?
literally graffiti. Like, you guys
Don't
can't
know
figure
what
that thing
word
out
you
either.
want.
Yeah. I don't know.
Talk to us like we're 5.
Explain it to me like I'm a five.
You have a lemonade stand.
Your dad gives you $10.
Your dad gives
So Jen, I always like bouncing off with you because you're our actual resident non-alien expert.
Finish that sentence. Thank you so
That's-
much.
I was just gonna say person, but I wanted to give it some more.
Yeah, okay. Right. What do I think? Was that the question?
Yeah, like out of all,
How do you
out of
feel
like the
about
questions
this?
we've done so far, like what is the like, what are you latching onto? Tape, future human.
the future human.
The
good
future of
band name.
humanity.
Future human.
I do like the
There you go.
military aspect. I always think that that helps, and maybe too just because they don't give a lot of fluff in there. It's kind of straight to the point, the reports, and I do like having the audio. That's great in real time. You can start to hear that just sort of mundane, curious, talking, but then they kind of start to escalate as you can feel that sense building of how out of the norm this is for them,
Tell like the
what they're
heartbeat,
saying.
the adrenaline starts going
Mhm.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
little
that
one.
there's not another great explanation, a lighthouse maybe, or just a hoax. And again, you still have to just get, you know, not fanciful people, in on a hoax and hold on to it since 1980.
And it's the 80s,
Right.
and it's not America. Anything with
Right.
UFOs outside of America is less sensationalized.
Yeah.
So there are less
True.
people making crop circles out there.
So
Oh, like less motivation, you're saying,
do the hoax.
make some
And
shit
it's-
up? Right. Although these were Americans.
Yeah, they were.
you
But
know,
like, I guess
But yeah.
maybe other soldiers could be pranking them. I never really thought about that.
Oh, that would be so wrong.
Well, I remember hearing that, obviously England was not stoked about America just being like, yeah,
This
They
is us
did
now.
prank them.
we're here
Right.
now.
They did. I did read
Right.
that. They would go back
So
and forth.
it would be funny if it was just the Brits
Oh
fucking with shit.
no.
Stupid American.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I don't know. And then sending 2 guys in suits to the crazy guy's
That's
house.
too much for the craft,
You know?
though. That's a bit
That's the
much.
long
It's a lot.
How would
It's a
they?
lot. A long time.
So if you go
yeah.
to that site now, there's a replica craft. I'll probably add some pictures of that too if you're watching on YouTube. And it would be really hard to make something that's like that big be seen and then just like taken out of the woods without
Real
like
quick, like.
shit everywhere and breaking everything. And yeah,
The plaster casts are
plastic
confirmed.
casts exist. You're seeing, if you're watching on YouTube, I think you should probably do that then. If you're listening, go to YouTube and watch it and subscribe while you're there. I think this wraps up all aliens, all April. I think I'm putting a bow on it, guys.
We did it.
I think this is my fill.
No,
Not that aliens won't be coming up again. But
God
next,
forbid.
actually,
You don't talk
fuck
about
you
aliens.
too. Next, the episode actually will probably include some alien talk.
Yeah, just a little bit of aliens. Yeah,
No
weird.
way.
I know.
No way.
Just a little
Strange.
touch of
I know.
alien though.
You
There's
just
other
keep
aspects.
surprising me all the time.
Anyway, guys, thanks so much for listening. Evan, thanks for coming on.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys
Thanks
so
for
much for
being
having me.
It's
This
nice
is a lot
to know
of fun.
that
Yeah.
Lee has friends and they
I know.
actually exist.
You do exist.
Wait,
Just the
He's got
one.
one.
Yeah, friend. Let's not get carried away.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Besides you two, friend. And I've already,
And we're
I've
through a
already
screen
told you guys.
thousands
Like
of
I don't
miles
even
away.
know if you guys have
Yeah.
legs, so
Damn.
we're not that close. Not until October.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for listening. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. 5 stars. Leave a comment if you want to be a guest. What do you got to do?
Email us at ssospodcast@gmail.com.
Right, guys. Bye.
Keep it strange.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to join us as a guest, suggest a topic, or have a story you want us to share, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at ssospodcast@gmail.com. For more behind-the-scenes updates and exclusive insights about SSOS, make sure to follow us on social media. And don't miss out on the fun. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you for listening to the Secret Society of Strangers podcast. This show is an independent production, researched and crafted by our passionate team. But we couldn't do it without all of you. We truly appreciate your support. Embrace the unknown, for not all secrets are meant to be kept. Farewell, strangers.